Yeah, I think incredible performance from the group, especially the beginning of that second half where we really came alive. Tulsa comes in here with so much confidence. They're such a good team. They're on an incredible run. And our circumstances where we were coming off a disappointing result. So to see our guys have the kind of mental strength and toughness to really get back to this incredible standard that they've just, I think, set in that second half. The beginning of that second half is phenomenal. So just so proud of the group. Such a good energy in the team for this game. Everybody was ready. Everyone felt confident and felt like we would perform really well and get a result tonight.
Coach, Tyler Devine got a career-high 6 saves today. How has his progress been going this season, and how key was it in getting the result of tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, Tyler's done well. I mean, if you look at our record right now, Tyler's been in a lot of those games that we've won and done a great job. I think anytime I was a goalkeeper, and so when I played, it's not just the goalkeeper, it's really the entire back line, how that back line defends, which then dictates what kind of opportunities is your opponent going to see. And so when you look to say, okay, good, especially against such a prolific scoring team as Tulsa, that's a team effort to hold them to the 2 goals tonight. Tyler's performance was really good, but so many players had to do incredible things and work incredibly hard to limit their chances.
You mentioned that second half. What changed from the first and second? What was said in the locker room that kind of brought that energy out in the second 45?
Yeah, I don't know that it was anything that the coaches said. What I think was that everyone realized that we controlled parts of the game, especially when we got the ball and took care of it. And then we had a plan if we could secure the ball, how we were going to build up and how we were going to attack them. And when we really started to do those things really well and execute, that gave the players a lot of confidence. I think at halftime we helped tweak some of the pressing to try to limit Tulsa being able to build up, and they're so good and they're so technical and they have such an organized attacking team. They're so well coached. But the players, I think it took a little while in that first half because of the way Tulsa plays. They play very differently, and so they had to also discover the game as they were playing in it, irregardless of the fact that we've talked about it, we've trained it. Once you get out there, you really have to feel what's going on, and the players did that, and they got a lot of confidence from kind of the end of that first half, and then in the locker room realized, we're in a really good spot.
How did the challenging non-conference schedule that you put together prepare you for a game like this tonight?
Yeah, I think when you play high level teams, top teams, and we played a good number of them in the beginning. You have to raise your standard, and and you have to deal with difficult moments when the other team's good. No matter how well you play in a moment, they might just have a moment where they're really good. And I think one of the things that we've developed now through this year is that when another team starts to do something good, like we don't get frustrated with that. We work really hard. We work for each other. We work as a team, and I think those tough games, they expose you to these moments where you have to learn how do you deal with really good teams and really good players, and how do you get comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's Tulsa will make you uncomfortable.
Coming into this game, you and I talked about how you wanted the fullbacks to overlap and really stretch that diamond midfield that they have. How do you feel that it kind of worked out tonight? Because they were looking for that, it seemed like, in the first half, and then the way that the fullbacks kind of played and interchanged with the wingers, it really opened up space for you. I mean, 2 of your goals came from those positions.
Yeah, I think Tulsa has a really interesting way they press you, and it makes playing through them really difficult. They kind of press you up to a sideline, so we were able to find some space and to find the free player, and that free player was usually on the other side. Sometimes it was the outside back, sometimes it was the winger, and then when you do that a couple times, you can start to stretch them out a little bit and find more space in other areas. But the outside backs were key, and I think once we started to do that, to open up, not necessarily go high, but to open up and to create those options along the back line, and then you have to execute, which the players did incredibly well. I mean, their players were running at them, trying to get their head down, really working hard, and we were able to play often kind of out of that pressure. And when we did that, then the game opened up for us, and we were able to then carry the ball forward and get in the final third against them and create some really good chances.
Now, defensively speaking, you made it a point last week, especially with set pieces and dead ball situations. It seemed like Giannis was taking kind of command of that back line. He was the one who was first on the ball, really confident in the air, and really commanding that back line. Was it something that you said to him, or was it just something that the team kind of talked about?
I think we definitely talked to Giannis about leading that back line. He's such a good player, and in so many different ways, right? Like he's got all these build-up qualities when we're in possession that are so important to the way we play. But then he's an incredible athlete, a fantastic individual defender, and now with him helping us be more collective at the back, setting the line, helping us stay compact, helping us know when to drop together, when to step together. That's so important for him. And he sees the game really, really well. And so he's there, and he's got to help the players around him. He's got to help the midfield in front of him. And if he's able to do that with his voice, because his understanding is there, then there's going to be less chances. So I was really pleased with how Giannis played tonight.
Coach, this is a statement win for the team, both in terms of their place in the national landscape and coming off that 3-0 loss against Memphis. What changed between now and then that ends up getting us the result that we have?
I mean, I would say the team was really disappointed in how Memphis turned out, and they responded to that. And they were aware that they did not do the things that they needed to do at the level that they need to do it, and they raised their standards. And the standards at the beginning of that second half, for about 20 minutes of that second half, that's the best we've played all year by far. And if we can make that our standard, then we can do great things.
Coach, how will this team be preparing for the game against Villalobos?
Yeah, it's a big game. There's a really good rivalry between SMU and us, where we have such respect for that group. We've met in a lot of big games before, so we will. Our process is pretty simple. We'll look at this game. We'll see the moments that we did well. We want to repeat, show that to the team. We'll see the moments where, hey, this is something we could have done different, and then led to an even better performance. And then probably Thursday, Friday, we'll turn our attention to SMU. But the thing that's interesting is we all know each other so well now, because when you actually look year to year, we all have the same ideas, and so we're pretty familiar with the starting point of SMU, and now we'll dive deep into the video.
Yeah, a little bit more on SMU. You know one another. That is an intense rivalry. What do you expect from their level of play and their quality of play?
They're so good, and they've got, they provide always this this difficult formation matchup because they play with wing backs, they play 3 center backs, and that always causes some issues that you have to figure out tactically. But they're super committed, hardworking. I think that's a big part of their DNA, is that they're going to fight and they're going to compete, and that's where our starting point is. We need to fight, we need to compete, we need to meet that and exceed that when we play them. We know we can expect that, and then we have to be tactically, we have to have the right ideas, we have to know how we're going to build up, how we're going to create our chances, and we'll spend a lot of time diving into the details.
On the topic of the SMU rivalry, one player has switched sides from that rivalry over the offseason. Nick Taylor
So glad he
transferred
did.
over the course of the offseason. What can you talk about his performance tonight and what he's brought to this team this season?
Oh yeah, he's been so good and so productive when you see like the assists and the goals. But I think it really comes down to Nick's process. Nick every week comes in and wants to watch video and wants to watch with the coaches and understand, okay, what is it that I can do better? What did I do well that I want to repeat? And Nick, I don't think Nick was really happy with his Memphis performance, because all week Nick would stay, I'd say 20-30 minutes. I'd be leaving the field, Nick's still out on the field doing some extra work, just trying to perfect his craft. And I think he's really, I think he's a winger, and back at SMU he's a wing back. But he's so good when he gets up against that line, being able to either drop his shoulder and go down the line and find a ball in behind, or be deceptive, come inside and shoot. It's great to have him play higher up where he can be so productive. So we are really happy that Nick decided to come, and he's been excellent, and he also has a great mentality, to like his working hard, his work ethic on the field. He's also got this mentality of wanting to compete, and he's got high standards, so it's been great.
Really happy for the win. It's not easy, as coach always says, it's not easy to win college games. Happy for the assist I could help the team, and just looking forward for next week to keep fighting and go for another 3 points.
Difference between first half and second half for you guys. You really took advantage of some of the narrow midfield that they were playing, and really took advantage of the wing play where all 3 of your goals came through. What changed between that first half and second half for you specifically, and just the midfield in general?
I think we were more clear in identifying that the spaces were in the wide areas, because in the week we noticed and watching video that our outside backs were always the free men, and I think in the first half we were not a little bit clear in trying to find those spaces, but in the second half we did, and that's where we could exploit the wide areas, find some good crosses and some good finishing too.
Speak just in terms of pressing from this team. You knew coming in that they were going to be pressing high, and through the first half they were causing you to make some errors, and then the second half things changed. You were able to play out of the press a little bit more easily and a bit more confidently, and then you were able to press yourselves. Was that something that you kind of worked on in training in terms of just pressing the back line a little bit? Did you see something that maybe you thought that you could take advantage of?
Actually, we fixed the press in the halftime, because in the first half we were not doing, like, our two strikers were a little bit too wide. So the coach said that in halftime we in the second half we had to be more narrow, and that was kind of it was gonna help us because they were not able to find their 6 so easily, and so he could turn, he could find some good balls. So I think that helped us a lot in our press, and obviously gave us the confidence to step onto them and to put some pressure on their center backs and their 6.
After last week's loss, what was the mindset, the mentality of this team in practice leading up to tonight's game?
I mean, it was a great week, because I think we were able to keep trusting our process. Obviously, we were a team that we want to win, but we're never going to betray who we are and how we play. And we know that the result is always an outcome of how we train, how we do the little things, how we do our preparation. And even though it was not the result we wanted last week, we stay loyal to who we are, we stay loyal to our process, and obviously that's something that's going to give us the result tonight, and we're happy for that.
Being a number 6 team in the country is certainly no small thing, especially after the loss against Memphis. What does this do to the team's confidence going forward this season?
It's massive. It's gonna make confidence go high. We have a huge game next week. We knew it that they were number 6 in the country, and it was obviously a great opportunity to redeem ourselves from last week, and we're happy that we got the 3 points tonight.
You know SMU, they're a challenge. Talk about them, what you expect from them next week.
I mean, since I've been here, it's been always great games, and I'm sure that next week is going to be a really great game too. We won the 3 points. We're going to go and prepare this week and fight and do whatever we want and we have in our power to go and get those 3 points because we need them. We want to stay top of the table.
Speaking of that SMU rivalry, one player came over from SMU to this team, Nick Taylor. Can you talk about what he's brought to the team this season and now going into a matchup against his former team?
I mean, for sure it's going to be a special game for him, and Nick has been a really great person. He's brought a lot of experience, a lot of maturity to the team, and we're happy that he's here with us. And obviously, I mean, you saw him today. He scored a great goal, and he's a great piece of this team, as well as all the players in this team, because we need everyone, and all of us, we got to be ready for, because it's a long season. We still have a few games to go, and we work together. We're going to get great results at the end.
First of all, what a game, and what a performance by our team. I think we did what we had to do in order to beat this caliber of team that Tulsa is, and it's a great statement game from us, especially after losing 3-0 to Memphis, which was a trap game. We knew about it. Lost at home, again 3-0, kind of embarrassing for us. And to come back this weekend and play a top 10 team and pull through with the win was absolutely incredible. Like I am so proud of our team, and I don't know if y'all could see me at the end of the game. I came out, I couldn't sit down. Like I had so much passion, and I just love the team so much, and we really fought through, and we just did an amazing job tonight. I couldn't be more proud.
After a scoreless first half, you guys came out in the second half, and you ended up getting the first goal. What did that mean to get that first goal after being scoreless for so long?
Well, the first half, I think we were a little bit intimidated by them. The first 15-20 minutes was a lot controlled by them, and I think we gave them a little bit too much respect. But towards the end of the first half, we kind of started to figure out what their weaknesses were, what we could exploit. And at halftime, the coaches came in with a really good plan, and we just followed that plan into the beginning of the second half, and it turned out to be exactly what we wanted, what we needed. The goal was absolutely crucial. It allowed us to, continue that confidence and continue to just keep putting pressure on them. It was massive for me.
You described last week's loss as embarrassing.
Yes.
And Coach said you attacked the week. You put in extra work.
Yes.
What was your mindset going into this game, knowing that you didn't like how you played and how the team played in that loss?
Yeah, so for me, just as a rule of thumb for my life is just like, whenever things don't really go your way, or you don't put out a performance that you expect or that you want to, the best way to respond to that is to work harder and to do extra. And so for me, it was like I spent time watching film, saw things that I was not doing well, and controlled the things that I could control. And so I spent time doing extra things, refining certain areas of my game that I thought that needed work, and those actually ended up turning out in this game and helped us get the win.
This was a super back and forth game. Tulsa was always kind of pressing high, and then it just went back and forth. You had the 2-goal lead, you cut it back, and how do you kind of handle those back and forth moments? Because when the team scores, they get the confidence, they start getting into more of the ascendancy, but throughout most of the second half, you kind of held them at bay, especially defensively. How was the team mentality defensively just within those moments?
Yeah, so in those moments, man, you just gotta fight through them. You just gotta grind through them. They're hard. They happen a lot, especially when two really good teams play against each other. And those are just moments you have to stay strong and stay true to your identity. Just keep working hard and don't lose focus. And I think that's what we did tonight. And again, I'm very proud of the mentality the boys brought, and hopefully we can carry that on to next week.
You're already in the top 5 coming into this game in assists in the country, and now you got one more tonight where you managed to get right on target with aerial haters with a header. How does one go about getting that many assists, and how your play style factors into that?
I really try not to look into that stuff that much. To me, just the recognition, the awards, I mean, they're a product of the work you put in. So for me, it's just, again, focusing on the team, focusing on what the team needs and working for the team, and everyone working together, and the assists and all the goals and stuff, those are just a product of all that. And so I think it's important for us, no matter who it is, me, Gino, Luca, whoever, like, the awards, like, can't focus in on too much. They're just a product.
You played quite a bit of minutes. Usually you get a little bit of breather in between. You played a full 85 and went down. First off, how's your health? And second, how would it feel just playing that extended period of time without a break in between?
Yeah, it felt good. Obviously being able to help the team out, I felt like I was playing pretty well, and I think one thing that I provide is a lot of energy, and so I think in the first half I was just trying to be there for my team and help them, like, to keep going, keep our confidence, and yeah, that's really all I have to say about that one.
Was it just a cramp at the end of the game?
Yeah, it was just a cramp, and I mean, I didn't cramp up entirely. I felt it, and so I was thinking, like, I could push on and try and, like, keep going and maybe risk a cramp, risk an injury, but knowing that I probably couldn't give my full 100%. And I was like, you know what, like, I'm gonna get down and let my teammates come in, because I know that they can give 100%, they can fight, and I trust my teammates 100%. So.
Next up at Dallas,
Yeah.
SMU, UCF. Talk about that rivalry. It's really developed over the last couple of years.
Man, that rivalry means a lot to me, and it's mostly because, like, now I'm on the other side of it. So I came from SMU, as some of y'all know, I guess, but yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. I was talking to Jamie after the game, and I was about next week, and I was like, we cannot lose that game. I will do anything in my power that I can do to not lose that game, because it does mean a lot to me. It means a lot to them. I know on the SMU side, they hate UCF, hate UCF's guts. It's a strong rivalry, and I think the rivalry between us and them is stronger than the rivalry between us and USF. So,
what is it that it looked like to play UCF? When you play a UCF team, being on SMU, what was that like?
Man, UCF, they were so hard to play because they always have so much energy. There's so much, like, interchanging, so much fluid movement. It's hard to track it down. It's hard to, like, pinpoint a certain play style. And I think that's the best thing about our team, is that we're not predictable, and that makes us very hard to beat. And so at SMU, it was just, like, trying to figure out, like, tendencies and, like, trying to defend them. But I mean, the way that our system works at UCF, we can exploit SMU very well.
You said that SMU players really hate UCF. So how was your stance on UCF back when you're at SMU, and what made you choose UCF when you transferred?
Yeah, so, man, I did not like UCF, especially after last season. At SMU we lost 3 times to UCF, and at that moment in time I thought that was gonna be my last season, and so for me it felt like UCF kind of, like, ripped something away from me, and so I've cried on this field a couple times because of that. But after SMU, after the season, I got the extra year because of COVID, and I got a phone call from Paul Souders. He's actually from the same city that I grew up in Dallas, and he recruited me to New Mexico, which is where he was from, or he was at before UCF. And so him and I have always had a bit of a relationship, been in contact since then, and he called me up and he was like, "There's a spot for you if you want it. I know it's hard, it's a rivalry, like, you might be able to trade her, blah, 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 all that stuff." But I was like, I know that he has the best interest in mind for me. I know that this team fits my play style the best, and I thought that this school and this team could bring out the best in me. And whenever I came here, like, the guys welcomed me in like very well. I was very surprised. I mean, I got a couple looks here and there from like some of the guys. They're like, weren't you at SMU? Like, how are you here? Why are you here? But after a couple weeks, I mean, it was a very welcoming environment, and it was like we were family. So I think that helped out a lot. And you know, as you can tell on the field, like we work for each other. We are a family, and I think that's the most important thing for us, is that we keep that family bond, and it allows us to work for each other and work together.
Were you able to appreciate UCF being on SMU?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I was able to respect them. I mean, they're an incredible program, an incredible team. Obviously, I guess we are now. But yeah, there's always that mutual respect. I mean, even though there was a rivalry, the rivalry was so strong because it was two really good teams, and we're always fighting for first and second place. That's how it was for a majority of the time. And it was like, we know they can exploit us, and then we know we can exploit them. Like the way that SMU works, they can exploit our formation, and the way that UCF works, we can exploit their formation. So like it's always a really, really good game. And I mean, man, the past few years it's always been really intense. But again, I could, being at SMU, like there's definitely a level of respect for UCF.
Now that SMU is next on the dock for you, what does it feel like now that your next game is going to be against some of your former teammates?
It's exciting. It'll be good. I can't wait to see them. I have a lot of good friends over there. It won't, like, obviously on the field, not friends, you know, a bit of enemies, but no, it'll be a good game for us. They just came off of a loss to Memphis, which we lost to as well. So I know they're going to be coming very hungry and very intense. And again, that rivalry, and I think especially for me, like they don't exactly like that I came to UCF, and so I think I'm going to expect a little bit of a harder game, harder summer.
Does a win tonight against a ranked team like Tulsa really help the team's confidence going into that SMU game as well as just the rest of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we knew before this game it was massive. Like if we win this game, we go top of the table, and coming off a loss to Memphis, I mean, man, to be a top 10 team, it reestablishes that belief, that confidence that we can be the team that we are supposed to be. Like we know that we're a really good team, and this just proves it.